welcome to this deep dive. Today we're looking at who might be the next pope. Pope Francis passed away on April 21st, 2025, so the big question now is, well, who's next?
Right.
Our mission here is to sort of sift through the sources, look at the leading candidates, and maybe understand why they're considered frontrunners.
Yeah, and predicting these things is famously tricky. There's that old Vatican saying, isn't there?
He who enters a conclave is pope.
He leaves it as a cardinal.
Yeah.
Exactly. And history backs that up. John III, John Paul I, John Paul II, even Francis himself were somewhat unexpected choices.
Definitely. But the process is starting. The conclave is expected between May 6th and 12th, 2025. Sistine Chapel, as always.
And the voters.
135 cardinals eligible. Cardinal Bichu is barred, though.
And what's really striking this time is the makeup of those electors.
Isn't it? Something like 80% appointed by Pope Francis.
Huge. And the geographical diversity, 71 countries represented. That's unprecedented.
It really shows the global face of the church now.
It does, but, sources suggest that diversity could bring challenges.
Yeah.
Language barriers, for instance. Not everyone's fluent in Italian.
Yeah, I saw that mentioned about Cardinal Aveline.
Right. So those general congregations beforehand, they're going to be crucial.
Absolutely. That's where they really meet, talk about the church's challenges, size each other up,
Exactly. And they'll be weighing key factors like continuity with Francis or maybe a shift.
How important is where the Pope comes from? Global South versus Europe.
That's a big one. And the leadership style, pastoral focus, administrative skill, maybe more intellectual, age too, right? Some talk about wanting a 10-year pope.
Someone not too old, not too young.
Sort of. And who can tackle the big issues? Finances, the abuse crisis, divisions, evangelization, diplomacy.
It's a massive job description.
Yeah.
Okay, so considering all that, who are the sources pointing towards? Seems one name keeps surfacing.
Cardinal Tagle. Luis Antonio Tagle.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting how consistently his name pops up. Media betting odds, often right alongside Cardinal Parolin. That highlights a potential tension, doesn't it? Tagle's pastoral evangelization focus versus Parolin's deep administrative background.
Precisely. And Tagle's connection to Francis seems pretty significant for this electorate.
They call him the Asian Francis, I read. Because of his style, focus on mercy, the poor.
That's the narrative. And Francis putting him in charge of the dicastery for evangelization, that's seen as a major nod.
Plus, him being Filipino with Chinese heritage. That speaks to the church's growth in Asia and Africa. A non-European pope from that region would be huge.
Historically significant, definitely.
But it's not just pastoral, is it? Sources say he has real curial experience too. Archbishop of Manila, now heading a major Vatican office.
Good point. That addresses the can he run the place question. He's not just an outsider.
And his age, 67.
Seems like a potential sweet spot. Young enough for a decent term, maybe 10 years or more, but old enough to not seem like a radical break for those wanting transition.
Let's dig into his profile a bit. Nicknamed Cheeto.
Yeah, apparently quite approachable. His background is fascinating. Filipino-Chinese, father linked to the old Principalia elite, and academically sharp too, valedictorian twice.
Wow. And his doctorate was on Vatican II, Episcopal Collegiality, linked to the Bologna School, which emphasizes the council's spirit.
Right. But he also worked with Cardinal Ratzinger on the International Theological Commission, so he's seen different perspectives. Then a quick rise. Bishop, Archbishop, Cardinal.
And his current jobs are big deals. Leading First Evangelization that's overseeing mission territories, appointing bishops there.
And president of Caritas Internationalis, the global charity arm. Plus other roles. He's been involved in multiple synods, too, known for his pastoral insights. Remember that quote?
About the church needing to listen to the poor.
That's the one. It captures his style.
Theologically, sources place him as progressive, echoing Francis, mercy, inclusion, but upholding core teachings.
Generally, yes. His style is humble, folksy, used media well in the Philippines, though some critics mention things like dancing liturgies as maybe too informal.
What about the tough issues? LGBTQ+, divorced and remarried.
Seems he pushes for compassion, criticizing harsh words, but holds the line on official church teaching, like on same-sex marriage. For divorced remarried, maybe a case-by-case approach to communion, generally dislikes severe language.
And lice issues, abortion, euthanasia.
Traditional stance there, opposed. He supported bishops fighting a reproductive health bill in the Philippines, though maybe less forcefully than some wanted.
The Vatican-China deal, given his heritage.
He's defended it pragmatically, to ensure valid bishop appointments, apostolic succession. Acknowledges the criticisms, though.
Okay. Traditional Latin Mass. Women deacons.
Likely supports the current restrictions on the Old Mass given his alignment and Vatican roles. He spoke against excessive nostalgia, women deacons. Probably against, based on a commission he was part of.
So, summing up his strengths: pastoral warmth, smart, good communicator, cares about the poor, global view, aligned with Francis, that bicultural background.
Right. Potential weaknesses. Some find his nuanced views tricky, especially conservatives. Risk of scandals in the vast mission territories under him. And his strong progressive link could alienate parts of the college. Maybe even Filipino national pride being too prominent for some electors.
Okay, so putting it all together from our deep dive into the sources,
Yeah.
Cardinal Tagle really does seem to be the most likely candidate right now.
The factors align. Continuity, representing the global south, that blend of pastoral heart and Vatican experience. It makes a strong case.
And if he is elected, it would signal a lot, wouldn't it? First Asian pope, likely continuation of Francis' direction, focus on evangelization, the poor, dialogue.
Huge implications. But, and it's a big but.
It's a secret conclave.
Exactly. Surprises happen. We won't really know until we see that white smoke.
Always the caveat.
Which leaves a final thought for you listening. Given how diverse these cardinal electors are geographically, culturally, experientially, how might their own unique backgrounds shape the final decision in ways the headlines aren't capturing? Could that lead to someone completely unexpected emerging from the Sistine Chapel?